Hi everyone, and welcome back to Millicraft and the Gray Box series. Today we're going to be looking at the cushions and some of the new blocks in the snapshot of 26.3.5 is where we're at right now. So some things may or may not change over the coming weeks as we're waiting for the new drop to happen. But today we're going to be doing something a little different, and we're going to be checking out a lot of cushion builds. Let's get started. So today's episode is going to start a little bit different than every other gray box. For one thing, I don't have all my fancy tools and junk that I kind of use. So I just started building. And 2 hours later, and I have a ton of stuff. So we're just going to go through them. And I'm going to show you how I did each of them as much as I can. So we're going to start with, well, we'll start with the back wall like I almost always do on these episodes. And we're going to look at shelves with cushions, because cushions are kind of cool and they can sit on all sorts of things. Now, cushions obviously can sit on trapdoors without an issue. They can actually sit within a gate, but you have to do something special to make that work. You can also make it work so you can have candles and such. So in order to make this happen, and you're going to see this a lot during this episode, we're actually going to play with a lot of snow layers. So again, a cushion can sit on top of any number of snow layers. So the more you put on, the higher it goes until, obviously it starts the next block. So if we want to do one of these guys where it's kind of like in the middle, if we do this and put the snow right there in the middle, then I take a cherry fence gate and throw it in there just like this. We can actually open it up, and it's going to stay because there is a block supporting this cushion now. So the same thing happened with this fence post that I used. I basically built it up from here. I built up just enough snow layers so that it could put that little guy in there just like that. And then I went boop and switched it out. Now, I did it in such a way that you can still see the top of the fence post so that we can actually put candles on top. So that's how it works. Now, obviously, candles can float, so you don't have to do it that way. But it makes it work really well and kind of easy. And you can put whatever up here. So if you didn't want candles, you wanted to put like lanterns or something, or like a flower pot or something like that, you can do that. Now that you have the basic kind of design, so the basic kind of idea is you're going to build up multiple layers of snow or trapdoors or something like that. Then we're going to go into our big old-fashioned sofa, and these are based upon trapdoors. So we have stairs with the cushions, and then you have the trapdoors with the cushions. And if you do it all the same color, you have just this little bit of an additional piece of your furniture, and then this looks kind of like the back of the furniture. And you can make this in any kind of variety that you could think of. Like if you wanted to make a futon kind of, or a chase lounge on it, you could do that too, just by adding some additional trapdoors. You could even put these on the ground if you wanted. So you could have all sorts of different layers of these cushions. Next up, you can just put them on the floor. Like this. I just put them on the floor, but then I did a fence post down here, and I did the same trick we did on the wall over there with the snow layers, so that the fence post would still show up. So this is actually, if I take this guy here, you'll see it's actually a little, like it's literally the same height as the floor here. So I was able to put some of these metal beams up, and then I made kind of a little like umbrella with the trapdoors again, and then put the black cushions on top. And then I used a half slab, which again, more new stuff, like a half slab of the wool on top to make kind of like the top of the umbrella there. Next up, we have a couple different swing sets. I was very excited about this. I'm still very excited about being able to bring this to my single player world, being able to put cushions on top of these. Now, one thing I didn't do in this case was put a cushion here, which I totally can. So I wanted to show that off. Like, you can have it cushioned all the way across, even where these chains come down. The only thing you have to know is you have to be able to like put your cursor on this somewhere so you can actually see the top of the block. If the block is completely full, like if I had like another block on top, obviously I can't put another, like I can't put a cushion on top here if I have a block there, but heck, I can put cushions on top of this too. So anytime you have a top surface on one of these blocks, you can add an additional cushion. So keep that in mind as you're building. So I even put them here, so I could even put them over here. We could get like having them on various additional surfaces. So if I wanted them, like, let's see, we came over here and put it right there. I can put them on that trapdoor too. So like you can actually have them kind of hovering in space. You can have them hovering on signs too. And now I have a sign like this. So if you want to have it really hover, there's another way of having it hover. Chase Lounge! Now this one I built with a stair, 2 little trapdoors underneath there, the cushions on top, and then the signs actually are against the stair here and then the actual trapdoor. So if you notice when I put it on, I click the trapdoor edge, that's how it gives this like additional like little armrest bit. Now we're playing off of similar things all the way across here. Again, I use snow layers with a pane of glass this time. So snow all the way up, put the pane of glass in once I broke the snow, made sure that a little tiny bit of the glass was showing at the top, and that allows me to put the lamp on top. I love these chairs. Again, these are like, this one is, there's no snow layers involved. It's just a rod, like an end rod, a cushion, and then a trapdoor at the back. Now you have to do trapdoors a little bit differently when you're doing this, or like you're gonna have to either put it on top like that, or like a couple different, like you have to put one down and then another one like that in order to have it sit that way, but you can also make it look like that, honestly. But you can have it hovering. Now this one would be the same height as that one, but I don't know if it shows up very well, but this one's a little taller than this one. So this one I use snow layers before I put the scaffolding in, so that the cushion actually sits more on the scaffolding part. And you can do that with these other ones too. And then I put just put the trapdoor on the back of it after that's done. Now another snow layer trick. I put a couple blocks here, put a couple snow layers here, and that way I have kind of a little swing set. Now you can't ride it very well because, I mean, you can ride it, but because you're in the middle of the block, I can't even like, you're just seeing chain basically is what you see there. But you could ride it and somebody else would see you sitting there, and I think that would be kind of cute. Then above this, I used the cushions and the half slabs of wool to kind of give a little bit more of a gradual curve for an awning, and then I used the banners of the same colors. Now, more fun with all of the snow layers. This one I used the snow layers before I put the cauldron in so that the water, I'm in quotations here, it was like at the same level as the cauldron, because otherwise when you're trying to put stuff in the cauldron, right now you actually only have 2 levels. You have like this level that's on top of the cauldron where this border is, or you could put it at the bottom of the cauldron. So if I try clicking up anywhere up that edge until I get to the top, that's all you're going to see. Or you can do it down in the bottom of the cauldron. And the same thing happens with a composter too. You only have just a couple layers now. They've actually updated this. This is Snapshot 26.3.5 at the moment. So that's what you're getting for there. But I like this little idea of having like colored water dripping down into a colored cauldron now. And you could do the same thing with this one too. Just kind of made a simple wheelbarrow with the poplar, and actually that looks really good with the poplar. I like that. More cool stuff, so much cool stuff. Shelf mushrooms. I grew up that, like, you can see this is the smaller shelf mushroom under here. And you can put the cushions on top, and then you have the larger shelf mushroom. It actually looks pretty good with other colors. Now, can't really, I mean, you can use them as a stair a little bit, and they're kind of bouncy, but you can also sit on them and hang out on the wall if you want. So you could create this kind of thing as seating, like stool seating, like bench seating and stuff like that as well. I was playing around with other stuff for this lantern, and apparently you can even put these cushions on top of the top part of this lantern. So as long as you can see the top of it, you can place a cushion there, and that gives kind of a little shade to your lantern. Now moving back around, cushions, carpets, stairs, half slabs, terraforming purposes. I don't think I would ever go this crazy with it. I would probably stick with like half slabs or something, like wool slabs and carpets and such. But if you really wanted to have fun with it, you could with the terraforming. If you really wanted to have a very special, like lots of levels and layers, you just have to be careful what biome you're building in. Obviously, I used, the colors aren't too bad when it comes to the moss. So this was all a moss template with the dark green colored cushions and the dark green colored wool. Moving right along, I kind of skipped those. I actually made myself a little bench chair. Now again, there's multiple levels on top of these podiums and down here where you can actually put cushions. So if you can see the top level, you can kind of move them around. And I built these things a long ago. I don't remember who Fwit, maybe I got the idea from originally, but now you can actually sit on them, which is really cool. I had a little bit of fun with this one, with this iron golem. So you don't need to use the snow layer trick with this one. I literally put the golem here, put the cushion on top of his head, put this pot again, by doing this, basically. I placed the pot against the wall here and then just got rid of it and then put a flower in it. And I don't know, I like it. It looks like he has a little fluffy hat or a sombrero or something. And then another little high chair design. This one did use snow layers to get it built up to kind of to the middle before I put the little fence gate for the armrest. I like that one. I think it's cute. It doesn't really, I'm like, there's nothing holding it to the floor, but you could put this kind of design against a wall or something and make it kind of a bench seat that way. Another snow layer trick if you want to sit on the ground. So with that one over there, we actually had just the cushions laying on the ground itself. This one has it inset into the floor a little bit. So snow layers, and here's how you do it. Here's the snow layers, and you put the cushions there, and then you can kind of build up around it from there. And that way you can just like sit flat on the floor now, which that's pretty sharp too. I like that idea a lot. More of the same kind of concepts. This one's just a little like seat for two. And I did exactly like I've done with like this guy here, where I used the snow layers to put the cushion down just a little bit, just so we can actually see the top of the fence post so you can put the lantern in. Another cute idea that I had, now we all know, at least I've done this before, we all know that the pots can sit down below the floor, and you can put a carpet over there to make it kind of like a doggy bowl. But if you take a cushion after you've put a flower pot in, you can make it look like maybe your pet's a little bit more of a diva, and this one has like wet food in it, and this would be the water bowl. And I like that a lot. I'm going to be using this along with another thing that I have built over there. Playing around with all sorts of colors and waterlog. The wool, being able to waterlog it now that we'll have half slabs and stairs. Game changer. Now we'll be able to use, unfortunately, it won't work for Bedrock, but for Java, we can have all of these beautiful corals sitting around, and you can actually put the cushions on top of the corals. You can do that with the dead corals too. So, and it kind of looks kind of cool too. You could mix up the colors. You wouldn't have to do grays. You could do reds. The difference is obviously you'd have to be very careful. You see, this is the hitbox for the coral, and then you just need to go hitbox right there for the ground, and then you can change it up. So this kind of thing, it looks like a little flat present. So I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of uses for this kind of thing for like presents and boxes and that kind of thing during the holidays too. And then I just like the idea of being able to do carpets and things, or even like a little birdie's nest or something like that along the floor, and keeping it all beautiful and colorful and yellow or whatever color you're using. Now, quickly, you know how much I love mushrooms, and this actually, with along with the shelf mushrooms over there. Look, we can make mini mushrooms, and we could grow little tiny mushrooms and medium-sized mushrooms, and those little mushrooms. Mushrooms are gonna come back in this channel at some point, but I think that is adorable, and I'm gonna continue to build off of this. Now, playing off that same thing we did with the pebble over there, I got me a little poplar planter. So we just put the little pot down first. So we put the pot down inside, and you don't have to put it inside a planter, honestly. We can just do it like this too. And then you can have whatever it is sticking out of the flower pot. Now, another thing you can do, again with these big pots, and or any of your chests that are entities, you can also stick like colored like bands around them by using the snow layers. So if we take, so I'm going to show you with the snow layers real quick so that you have it. So if we want to put a band around one of these pots, we can do that. Just take the snow layers, put the cushion on top, break the snow, replace it very quickly with a decorated pot or a chest or whatever, and now you have them color coded. And I think they're kind of cute. These guys look like little sumos. Like, he looks like a little sumo wrestler. I don't know. It's just kind of my opinion, but I think they're really cute. I think it was Zuma or someone like that I saw doing this, and it's perfectly usable as that. But like, say if you wanted to make a present for somebody, like put colored wrapping paper, like, ribbon around it, it would be very cute. You can even put one on the top after that too if you wanted to hide it or something. All right, moving right along, you can actually hide beds and things underneath these things, and if it was nighttime, I'd be able to sleep and have a nice little cover over it. But like, you can actually hide the cushions, have a little bit of a fancy seating arrangement. This particular design I got from MC Yoda way back when. He made these, he put the doors against a bed, put little trap doors on either side, put the banners here, and then now we can put the cushions on top, and I could use a little brown bed. And the brown bed can be completely hidden but still used out in the open. You wouldn't have to have a little footstool here, but you could. And that way, just out and about, you can have beds hidden, and nobody would have to know the difference, and you could just sleep in it whenever you wanted. All right, this design over here, I decided I'd actually keep the snow layers so you can kind of see what's going on here. And I actually used one of the stairs from the wool for this, as well as our shelves. And I've used a lot of shelves in my previous thing, but these little shelves make a really cute little backboard for a nice long chaise lounge. And the white's actually really nice, and you can actually lift it up a little higher than what we would do here with trapdoors. So you can see it has a little bit more heft to it, a little more depth. And I kind of like that look when it comes to like the white versus just this little cute little bench too. Now that's adorable too. And you could put, the doors on it just like you did with this. You could switch it up by placing these on top of like the scaffolding or something, but very similar designs, just implemented differently. We're narrowing in. We almost have them all of our stuff now that I've come up with so far. And this is, 25 plus designs that you can steal for yourself. But I think this one's kind of cute. We made, with a little sulfur spike here, I made a little beret with a little poof on top. We gave him some ears with the shelf mushrooms. Otherwise, this is like your normal kind of scarecrow with the pumpkin and the straw belly. He's just so cute. I can't get over it. It's so adorable. I was obviously the sulfur spike, depending on where you put it, might be like put elsewhere, but it kind of worked out just perfectly at the top for his hat. More snow layer action. This one's on a copper rod, and then we have the little cushion on top. We have the cake on top of that, and then I've got the birthday candle on top. So what a perfect way you could make like little mini gifts for your friends, like looking like that. And then you could have a little cake around, and then you could like wrap a little present there and give them a gift for their birthday or something. Now, I think this one's funny. Now, most plants can't do the cushions around it, but I think this makes kind of a cool little border if you wanted to have like a really cute, pretty border around your house and have the little bit of additional color for like a planter. But I think this would make like just little touches around your garden with this, with like different colors. Like you could even like mix it up so that you could see, as long as we can see the top of the block below it, you can switch it out. And like, I love it with the azaleas. Not all the flowers could do that, unfortunately. It's pretty much just the azaleas. And I'll show you kind of what I discovered here, because like some flowers, as long as you can see how I'm in that hitbox to that hitbox, it works. But if I were to come and try a too tall flower, if you notice, their hitboxes are the entire block. So the only way that you could make this vaguely work on one of these, unfortunately, is if you do a snow layer first, then you break out the snow layer and very quickly place the block. And then, you know, you can probably do some more along it, but obviously with these too tall flowers, they kind of vary everywhere within this hitbox, so it's gonna probably be a little messy as you built it out. See how it's like, it's just arranged weird? It might work, but you really should probably use blocks like that where it just is a little bit more neat, unless you use a data pack that would even these flowers out into the very middle of the block, and that might work then too. All right, last fun thing. I had to create a cat tree. I don't have a cat on it at the moment. I'm just kind of playing around with it, but the new poplar, I think that looks really cute. This actually looks a lot like a cat tree I have in real life, honestly, with the colors, and they have the little additional holes that the cats can climb through. So this one was basically just fence posts, some carpet, a couple of these cute little cushions. Imagine you might, if you really wanted to put a cat in there, since cushions are not entities, I mean, they're entities versus like the carpet, like you might have to do some fiddling with this, or just put the carpet where you want a cat or an animal or a bird or something to sit versus the cushions, or you might have to move the cushion down like we did with some of these other ones where you're going to see the top, so that there's going to be a hitbox for them so they can actually sit on it. Because I do worry that they'd probably just fall right down through the cushion. Thank you all so much for watching today's Greybox video. I know it was a little different today. It was kind of a fast run through of all of these cool different builds. I hope you learned something about using cushions, and you're as excited as I am for the new update. There's so many cool new things coming. I can't wait. Anyway, folks, if you like this episode, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you like any of these ideas or you have any new ideas of your own. I also have the link to the CraftWorks Discord. There's a link tree down below. That's where I hang out a lot, and we have a channel where you can share your builds, and I want to see them. If you've been using the cushions in the snapshot, or later on you watch this video when the actual cushion drop, poplar drop, whatever they're gonna call it, happens, let me know. I want to see what you've been up to in this great world, and if any of these ideas helped you. Anyway, everybody, love you all very, very much. Give yourselves a hug for me, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye! Oh, I can't wait to put all this stuff into my real worlds.